Have you ever wondered what therapy is like, or what your loved ones talk about when they are with their therapist? Well, now you can be a fly on the wall in a real therapy session, an unnoticed observer. During this episode, you'll hear a real group therapy session with a modern twist. Our group therapy sessions are done as a mock podcast where participants are encouraged to have open dialogue about their mental health and addiction challenges. As an observer of this episode, we hope that you will learn something helpful for those among us whose struggles often go unnoticed. All personally identifiable information has been removed for the privacy of the participants. Thank you for listening.
All right, wow, we've got another exciting show for you guys. We got two new people here, yes, and they are going by your name on the show.
You have to have a code name.
Your name on the show?
Oh, what's up? It's Curly.
Curly and?
Icy.
Iced out.
And as is tradition, the new people are interviewed by the OGs. So I'm going to turn it over to you two, and I'll only jump in as needed. Well, I want you to do really good interviews. Who wants to be interviewed first? Okay.
So today, Lizard and Kitty Cat are going to interview Curly because he's new. Sorry, it's really part of my character.
It's a good impression, though. It's like a good accent.
Yeah, my family talks in Australian accents all the time at home.
I feel like her last name is Irwin.
Okay, so Lizard is Russian and I'm Kitty Cat and I'm Australian. So right now we're gonna interview Curly.
All right.
So Curly, what's your favorite color?
All right, I'm gonna have to ban the accents.
Okay. We got it.
All right.
So, Curly, why are you here? What did you do to get in this institution?
In this institution, what did I do? I got a little problems with my anger.
I heard.
Oh, you heard? From who?
From everybody.
What? Sorry. Talk about that. What do you mean you had problems with your anger? Let's hear about it.
Well, back home, I wasn't able to really keep it in. I wasn't able to control it. It would just, come out in like outbursts, like just verbally, physically. Just wasn't really that great. It's gotten toned down after the past couple of years, but it's not good.
What's going on? I don't like the vibe here because it's like...
So, Curly.
It's so all over the place.
Curly.
All right, drop the accent.
Why?
Because, I don't...
It's part of my character.
I know, we'll go back to it, but right now I kind of really want to, it's like, it's his first time here. And
oh, true.
First time.
So, what is your goal for when you leave this place? Like, when you leave, what is something you want to be like, man, I fulfilled that,
Nice. Nice question.
Thank you.
Being able to control what...
Yeah, we got that part, but, what do you...
I came back quick.
Like what?
Let's say you're like, my goal here is to go home and just saying control is too wide of a goal, but around a certain person, or do you want to at a certain place you want to control more, like your house do you want to control more, or against your mum do you want to control more, what's the certain thing, we can go with control, but what's the certain thing you want to control?
The certain thing I want to control,
yeah,
is my anger.
No, but if that's a really wide thing. That's like me being okay, when I get out here, I don't want to self-harm anymore.
When I'm agitated.
You know, when you're agitated?
Yeah.
Okay. But, against a certain person? Is there a certain person you're,
no,
concentrating on?
No. Just agitation.
I respect that.
What are some things that can make you agitated?
Good question.
That you need to control?
Certain things, I don't know. Just
Specific.
I'm thinking. Let me think.
Like, if there's one thing we can avoid that will, if I were to say something or do something and it would just set you off, what's something that if I was someone that you would get, like, okay, let's say you go home and I'm there and I'm your mum or I'm your dad, and I say, what's something that, like, one thing I could not do to not make you feel mad, you know, like, you know what I mean?
Something you could do.
Something I could not do to make you not mad.
Okay.
I gotta be honest, the accent is making me space out.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
For real.
It's hard for
Try
me.
Korean.
And you want to feel...
Just be you.
Korean accent.
Just be you. I like it best when you're just you. Please.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. But let's say I was your mom or your dad.
Yeah.
And you came home.
Yeah.
When you come home, they do that one thing. And you're like, don't do that. Like, what's that one thing?
Probably just... Damn, I don't know. It's something to think about.
Well, let's talk about this anger. Like, when did it start?
Yeah.
Oh, when I was really little. Really little. I was like, I don't know, maybe 10, 9, 8.
What was going on in your life back then? Anything interesting or different?
More, it had to do more with my parents back then. It still does now, but back then it was really intense. Like, more fighting, more verbal, everything.
Are they married still?
Yeah, they're still married.
But they fight a lot.
No, they don't fight. They used to have a lot of arguments, and then that result going on to me when I was little, and I would, you know, it would affect me.
How did it affect you?
It just got to me. I would ask them to stop, and then they would realize what they were doing, and then sometimes they would go back to it in the moment, or sometimes they would stop, and then maybe in a week, maybe a day, they'd take it out of me.
At what age did you realize it was a problem?
What specifically?
Well, like, because, you know, little kids, they're rowdy, they like to wrestle or whatever. What age did you realize, maybe I'm not a normal kid? Like, I need help for this. Like, I can't do this anymore. Like, what age or...
Like all my friends are not this angry. Like,
Right when I turned 14.
I mean, turn 14.
Is there a memory that you, like, have from then that, like, stands out?
Not really. It was just more like a realization that, yeah, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should stop calling BS on, like, all the stuff that I hear. Maybe I should try it. Maybe it won't work. Maybe it will, but I should try it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what happened with your parents that they were fighting so much and they stopped?
I think it had to do a lot with... I'm not so specifically sure. I think I was just a difficult kid to deal with.
Why?
And I don't know.
You blame yourself? For your
No, I don't blame myself. I just think that they had a lot to deal with themselves. Like, in between each other, between just...
Dude, all kids are difficult, though.
Yeah, I know. All kids are difficult.
What made you so difficult?
Damn, I was a rowdy-ass kid. I was like... I was...
Maybe you were like that because they were fighting all the time.
Yeah, no, I definitely got it from that. I'm not so specifically sure on what they were fighting about. I never, like, I've asked, but
They don't
I
tell
never,
you.
yeah. So I'm not really sure.
So, are they on good terms now? Like, do they get along well?
Yeah, they get along well.
So, what about, do you have any brothers or sisters?
No, I do not.
Do you think them now getting along well is a result of you realizing you need to stop, or do you think you realizing you need to stop is a result of them getting along better?
I think me really realizing I need to stop has nothing to do with them getting along well.
Okay.
They started getting along better.
It's a great question, though. Those are really good.
Because I was really little when they were fighting.
By the way, you both can be asking questions too. Lizard and Icy. Like, jump in there, man.
I was really little when they started fighting, like just arguing, like 6 when I would see it. And then by the age of like 10, they would stop, but it was already, you know, into me by then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it really like had an effect on like the making of who you are. And you're an only child. You had nobody to share this experience with. It was just...
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's just like, you know, you trying to process it alone. Like, you're in a house and everybody in the house but you is fighting, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, that sucks. That's, like, a really tough position to be in.
I was little and I was trying to stop it. I was just trying to I was, you know, telling them, like, they need to stop and everything. And I was literally little, but I knew what was going on. I was very aware.
People underestimate kids like crazy. Kids are super intelligent. Kids aren't just intelligent, they also have intuition. They understand very deeply. Like, people think they're fooling their kids. No, you're not fooling anybody.
And kids are like memory foam too. Like, once something happens to them,
wow, I love
it's
that.
like
That's so
it's stuck with them, you know?
So great of a description on kids are memory foam.
Yeah.
Holy crap. I
Yeah.
never heard that before.
Oh,
Did you
really?
just come up with that?
Yeah.
It's so describes it perfectly.
Oh, thank you.
Damn.
Buy my book coming out soon. It's
You're on
called
fire
Memory
tonight.
Foam.
You're on fire tonight. You so far have had 2 like really, really good questions and sick analogy. And the other 2 of you have said like nothing.
Sorry.
Pick up your mics and jump in the ring. You must have questions. Come on.
I already know everything about Sam.
What? Wait, how did you?
Who's Sam?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who's Sam?
Curly.
I don't
Okay,
know.
Curly.
let's just move on from it.
How do you plan on, like, when you get out of here? Like, how do you plan on changing your, like, family dynamic or, like, your home, like, dynamic, if you know what I mean? Unless it's already changed.
Well, plan on changing
Mic
it
drop for that.
by probably just sharing a lot more, you know, just having more conversation with my parents, more specifically my mother, and going out with her more, hanging out with them more, and as a whole family too, just everybody together, you know. They want to start, you know, having like dinners and everything together. It's something that we didn't ever do. But yeah, I think that will really help the whole family dynamic.
Do you think if you had brothers or sisters, it would affect your anger at all?
I think it would. I think if I had brothers or sisters, yeah, I definitely would have come out differently. I might not be here in the first place. I might not have had that anger in the first place, or it might have been worse.
Yeah.
But I could never tell if I would have been better or if I would have been worse.
Too hard to say, huh?
It's too hard to say.
Yeah. Because I feel like as an only child, you kind of had all of that pouring into you. And it must have been hard to have your parents have problems when you have problems as well. So they were kind of like, what are those called? A funnel? It's like a funnel. It was all just pouring into you. And I could see why that would be so frustrating. Like, you didn't have anyone, you know?
Am I the only one who thinks that she could be an awesome therapist?
Nah, for real.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I think you may, like, I found your calling. I
Oh, thank
think
you.
really good at it. Really good.
I'll give it a try.
Yeah, great
Yeah.
interviewer.
You know, catch my second book. It's called Interviewing with a Therapist.
I mean, you bring up a really good point. Like, all this was channeled into only you.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, like, dispersed into anybody else. It was just, like, you absorbed everything. The memory foam analogy also. Just, like, really, like, very poignant stuff. Like, you absorbed all of this pain from your parents. And now it's, like, it is kind of like that memory foam thing, because it's like, what do you do with it? You're just still holding on to it. Mm-hmm. And it seems like you try to hold it in, it just comes out in these bursts of anger. But it's because you literally did absorb it, right? Like, it's no one else. There was no one to diffuse it. You absorbed it all, and they might have got better, but you're still holding on to this stuff. And you're also like asking them for answers, and you're like, well, what happened? They're like, I'm not telling you. So I'm the only one in this house who doesn't get to know, really? Yeah. Because I'm still affected by it.
Yeah.
I would bring that up in family if I were you. Like,
no, that's a really good idea, yeah.
Yeah.
You could tell that, like, it's still, like, affecting you. Like, I could tell that today, like, you talking to your parents, like, affected you, like, deeply. Like, you needed it, and, like, I think everybody does, but, like, you got something out of it, I think. And I think that you're definitely gonna, like, move past the, like, not, like, hating your parents, but, like, hating your parents, if you know what I mean. Like, I think you're moving past and, like, growing from the experiences that you're having here.
Mm-hmm. And I'm really good at, like, getting to know someone.
Yeah.
You know, I have good judgment. And Curly here, I can tell. Like, when you came in here, I was like, damn. I was like, what's he in here for? I was, like, trying to figure out. I was like, maybe it's, like, drugs. Because, like, that's, like, my go-to. Yeah. And, like, And, like, it was, like, you were angry. And I was like, what? Angry? Like, because you're just such, like, it's, like, when I see you, I don't see, like, anger. I just see, like,
Curly.
I think why you don't see the anger is because a lot of it does come from my parents. A lot of it does come from the experiences I've had, having to do with my parents, and then arguments and the fighting in the family. And a lot of that comes up with my parents because I did get it from them. I do see them in that way. I've seen them that way. And then I've had that, just that feeling inside of me, that I know I got it from them. I don't blame them for it, but I know that I got it from them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So why don't you blame them for it? Sorry to interrupt.
Because, well, it's never anyone else's fault. It's never good to just blame other people, because it's still my choice to react the way I am.
I would never do this, but let's say I went up to you and I punched you in the face.
Yeah,
it's not my fault.
No, it is your fault.
So it is sometimes other people's fault.
It is sometimes other people's fault, but I'm not going to just blame them for exactly the way I am today.
Okay, but who shaped you if not them?
Other people, the environment I was around outside of home.
What was that like?
Were you out of your house a lot?
Yes, I was out of my house a lot. It was kind of ghetto out there. Mm-hmm. So I had that environment.
Where was this?
Like Bellflower, down by like Long Beach area.
Okay.
I just had that environment and those people around me, and I'm not saying they were bad people. I'm not saying anybody was like that, but I've seen some bad people. I've seen some pretty, I've been around and I've been friends with some pretty bad people and angry people and sad people. Just
so what constitutes a bad person to you? Like criminals, like some people who like physically harm other people, or what?
Just people doing some pretty bad stuff, some crazy stuff, like like some criminal things, some.
For example, what's the worst thing you've ever seen someone do? You don't have to say who the person was.
Worst thing I've seen someone do was shot off his own thumb.
He shot off his own thumb?
He shot off his own thumb. I've seen someone get shot. I've seen a lot of stuff. Like,
how did he shoot off his thumb?
He was on drugs. He was on some.
Have you done drugs?
No.
Nothing?
No.
So you just hung around drug people who shoot their thumbs off, and then they're like, hey, you want something? You're like, nah, I'm good. I just like watching people shoot their thumb off.
I've been able to control myself in that field.
How come you can control yourself there, but you can't control your emotions, your feelings?
I've been around a lot of emotional people. I think where I get it, when it comes from my parents, when it resonates from them, and being around a lot of emotional people after that and throughout my life, it kind of all comes together in this big, ball of just, all these different people, all these different personalities and all these different emotions just coming in and coming onto me, and what I've learned and what I've seen and what I've gone through. Mm-hmm. And it...
Sorry. May I ask, what drew you to hang out with those specific people?
Nothing. I just was placed in that kind of area.
So all the kids around there were like that? Not
all the kids, but a lot of the stuff that I enjoyed to do. Like if I enjoyed to play basketball, a lot of my friends who did, not all of them, but I had friends that knew people like this that they weren't aware of, because I was really young at the time, and they were young at the time, and a lot of people weren't aware of it. And I did have a couple friends that were aware of it, and I know that. And I learned a lot from them. And a lot of it was good. A lot of it was good insight, but a lot of it was stuff that maybe I shouldn't have known. Maybe I shouldn't have been hearing at that age.
Yeah, I feel like you've experienced a lot of trauma really young. And I mean, it's not surprising at all to me that like it's hard to hold that all in for you.
What kept you from doing drugs? I mean, you had these anger issues, and drugs would like calm you down, so what?
Because I didn't really have anything that I wanted to rely on. I didn't feel the need to just have I didn't feel the need to be codependent. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's just like, you think that I would, but no, it's just, I kind of just kept it. I kind of accepted it, but not in a good way. Mm-hmm. There's ways you can accept, there's ways you can accept your flaws, but then be able to deal with them and cope with them. But not me. I just accepted it. I accepted the fact that I would be angry. I accepted the fact that I would be emotional, and I accepted the fact that I wasn't able to control it. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't good. Did
you ever make friends online? Was that anything you had ever done?
Yeah.
And what kind of people were they? Were they like the people you hung around?
No, they were actually really good people.
They were really good people?
They were really good people.
So if you were out of that environment, you wouldn't immediately choose to go to the ghetto group, right? Like,
well,
you know what I mean.
What do you mean?
Like, group of people you do around, they have guns and they do drugs and stuff like that. But if you lived somewhere like not where you lived, and there were all sorts of people, like you could choose from any people you want, what would you say the group would be that you would go to?
Well, the group I would go to would be the group that I was around as a kid. And
let's say
okay,
you woke up with amnesia. You got hit by a car and you woke up with amnesia. Your parents are like, we're moving. So you go to this new high school in this place where there's all these new different people.
Yeah.
Who are you?
And you're like, oh, like, where do you think you'd be drawn to go?
Probably the kids like me.
The basketball team?
Basketball?
The basketball
maybe
team?
Maybe sports kids. Maybe sports kids. Maybe people who play sports.
Yeah.
I definitely hang out with a lot of football players sometimes. I hang out just because, they're cool. Not that many douchebags.
And sports are really good for getting out aggression.
This is like, there's so much to unpack here, and it's like a really, really good, you're doing such a great job. All of you are. But we actually have to switch it over to Icy, or we're not going to have any time.
Yeah, let's see what Icy has to say.
Are you or someone you know looking for treatment options in Los Angeles? The Los Angeles Outpatient Center is an adult clinic specializing in mental health and eating disorders. Located in Culver City, California, LAOP offers day and evening programs to accommodate individuals' busy lives and treatment needs. Each treatment plan is individualized and includes both group and individual therapy sessions and daily free nourishing meals. Most major insurance companies are accepted, and their program specialists are there to help you every step of the way. Learn more at laopcenter.com or by calling 888-928-3805.
All right. Lizard, you've been the quietest, so you start the questions for Icy.
Make them good.
Make them good. You heard her.
Make them good. I'm bad at.
You're good at.
Just say like,
I
what
believe
brings
in
you here first?
What?
Just be like, what brings you here first? You know.
What were
What are
you?
you here for?
My anxiety and depression and drug use age in the past.
Yeah.
What exactly were you doing before you came here? Like past months, maybe past years.
You don't have to be.
Like
You don't have to like keep anything from us. Like we're chill.
Yeah. What? Like
I was destroying my body. That's what I was doing.
Well, all of us were destroying our body, but
like
in different ways.
actions. Like it doesn't have to be with drugs, but like, I'm not talking about like what drugs were you doing. I'm just saying like, what was your life like? Like what were you doing before here?
I have a very complicated life, so
We've
I
got
don't really know. But the last 3 years of my life, like since I've been in high school, I've been in and out of the hospital because of surgeries. And then in the past, like maybe 6 months, I've been in and out of the hospital because of my stomach problems. And then the last like 3 months, I turned to like smoking weed every day so that I could get through school so I couldn't throw up from my anxiety. And then I would smoke before bed because I can't sleep ever. And then it got to a point where the smoking wasn't doing anything, so then I took Xans. And then after the Xans didn't work, switched to Coke, but Coke doesn't make you go to bed.
That's what I was confused about.
So then I started selling Coke instead, and then my parents found out. So basically, I've been like around the whole drug field. Yeah, all of it. Shrooms, everything. PCP, everything. Adderall,
Oh yeah, we believe you.
everything.
What introduced you to that?
Yeah. How do you just wake up one day and you're like, drugs? You know.
No, like my friends definitely, but the school that I go to is not like it's kind of like ghetto for my area, but ghetto for me, you know. So like it's just very diverse. Like there's drugs everywhere, like everywhere. Like it's just a small private school, but like our authority figures don't give a shit. So it's just all over the place, basically. And, like, there's drugs everywhere. Like, you walk into the bathroom and people are smoking joints. Like, that's just how it is. Like, I can't control that. But, like, it was my choice to, like, do it.
So if you look back 3 years before now, would you have ever thought that you would be in rehab for drugs as bad as cocaine?
No, never. But I had a different, like, perspective back then than I do now. Like, my brother is, like, my brother, he fucked over his life, basically, by doing drugs.
By the way, just a reminder, you guys are not supposed to curse in the group.
Oh.
Okay.
He kind of fricked his life up, you know, by doing, like, smoking too much, and he kind of lost his memory, so it just is taking him a while to get through school. Like, he's still in college, and he should have graduated 2 years ago. But, like, I just never wanted to end up like him, so no, like, I wouldn't see myself as that, but of all the shit that I've gone through in the past 3 years, like, I understand how I got to this point.
Did your parents do any drugs?
My mom smokes all the time, smokes weed all the time, and my dad drinks, so it's like around.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's,
it makes
it's
sense.
in the house.
Yeah.
Are you?
Go ahead.
Are you planning? Are you going back to school, are you going back to the same friends when you get out of here?
I'm not going back to school.
No. Are you glad? Are you?
I'm glad because I know that I need to get away from them. Like, I know I need to get away from the situation that I was in, or like the environment that I was in. But like at the same time, like I've been with them for the past 4 years, like, and now it's like the last semester of senior year and I'm not there. Like it's kind of shitty.
Is there a part of you that's like, man, I never want to give up doing drugs. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to give up drugs.
No, fuck drugs. I'm over it already. Like, I want to go home. Like, I just wish that, like, I never, like, took that path, like, to begin with. Like, I wish I never started vaping and doing all this shit that I was doing as a freshman. Like, it wasn't worth it. And that's, like, how it started.
Do you come from a big family?
Yeah, I'm one of, like, 2, 3 kids.
You're not even sure?
3 kids.
What about, are you the middle child?
I'm the baby.
You're the baby?
Oh.
The other 2 kids, do they get into drugs too?
Yeah. Like my sister smokes before she goes to bed because of her anxiety. Same with my mom. And my brother is constantly high, so I don't know what he's even on. So
it's kind of like unescapable in your family, in your household.
Yeah, but I think my parents see me differently, like from the rest of my siblings.
Like
if that makes sense.
They don't want you to take the same path.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. They don't want me. Yeah, exactly. They don't want me to end up like my brother, basically.
Mm-hmm. They want you to shine. They want you to graduate. What happened to your brother?
He just kind of like ruined his life after high school. He dropped out of college. He sold all of his his crap that he got like from college, if that makes sense. And then
doesn't really make sense, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, like he sold everything that my parents bought him basically to buy stuff. And then he had to ride a bus back to home. So my parents had to buy his bus fare and everything, and it was like a big deal in my family. Yeah. And then he came back and lived with us for 3 years. So for the past 2 years, he hasn't been here, but before that he was here. So like I was pretty close with him before he got messed up, and then he got messed up and came back and messed me up, basically.
Damn.
So do you blame your brother at all?
I blame my brother for a lot of things.
Like what else?
I don't know, like the way I am, like why I'm depressed, the way I think
why are
myself.
You depressed?
Just because of all of my I get hurt a lot. I have a lot of medical problems. I don't know. Like I'm in and out of the hospital literally every month. Like that's just how my life is. It kind of sucks.
And you said, what do you think of yourself? You blame him for it. What do you think of yourself?
Like, not like the way that I am, but like he is like one of how like your parents affected you. Like that was how my brother was to me when I was growing up. Like he was my parental guidance, like when I was a kid. And he was always there, like, forever. And then he left for college. And that, like, messed my head up. Like, him not being there. And then...
Yeah.
And then once my sister left... Oof.
My eldest sister... I have 5 sisters. And my eldest sister was really close to me. Like, when my dad... was in the hospital a lot and everything. She was always there for me, and I was always really close to her. And I always wanted to be just like her. And I always just put her up on this pedestal. And she just meant a lot to me, and she understood me. And then when I was in 4th grade, she told me that she was going to Michigan for 3 months. And, when you're in 4th grade, 3 months is a long time. So, in those 3 months, I found out what suicide was.
You didn't know about it?
No, I didn't know you could do that.
Damn.
And I found out about suicide, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's like perfect.
Yikes.
Like,
it's definitely
this is
not
like
the
what
right,
I want to do right now.
It's not what you want to
like 10.
feel like when
Yeah,
you're
I know. I was so upset though, because my sister like was there when my dad died. She was there like for me through everything with my mom getting remarried. Like, and I had always just looked up to her so much. Mm-hmm. Then she came back, and like I was so happy. Like those months, I was just so happy. I just let myself be happy. And then, like maybe when I was in 6th grade, then she told me she was leaving and she wasn't coming back. Uh-huh. And that was when my depression really skyrocketed. And I genuinely wanted to die. And I like talked about suicide a lot. And I just like, I didn't know what to do about it. And so like, then someone told me, I forgot who it was, but someone told me, they're like, do you cut your wrists? Because I was like, I'm suicidal. And they're like, do you cut your wrists? I was like, no, I didn't know you're supposed to do that. And she's like, no, don't cut your wrists. Don't do that.
Yeah,
and I was like, oops, well, like, now that idea's in my head. Yeah. But I was like, but I'm not going to do it. I was like, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
I was like, I'm not that person. So I drew on myself instead. And so.
Did you draw a cut?
No, I would like draw flowers and sleeves up my arms. And then my dog, who was my best friend, my dog suffered with depression as well. And it's a long story with him, but basically like he used to bite me and scratch me all the time. Then one day like the fire alarm went off in our house, and he like was shaking, like dove into my bed, and like he was just shaking. And then that was the day like we became best friends, because like we both realized that like we're both scared.
Yeah, you bonded.
And anyway, my dog died. And so, that was like the worst day of my life.
I remember you brought that up in a different group.
Yeah. So, I went to the bathroom because my math teacher told me to stop drawing on myself.
Yeah.
She's like, stop drawing on yourself. You need to stop doing that. And I was so distraught about my dog. So I ran to the bathroom and I cut myself. And like, that was when I started. And like, I just can't help but think like how you feel about your brother. Like that's kind of how I feel about my sister, is like when she left, everything just kind of went downhill. And I blame her sometimes, because I'm like, if she'd never left, like I wouldn't be like this.
That's what you feel too, Icy?
I mean, it's a little different now because he comes home a lot. So I see him like every other weekend. But I don't like my brother. Like we do not get along at all. Like I don't miss him.
Well, look, we're going to have to like call it a night for that, because we're out of time for tonight. We got a late start, but I will be here twice next week so we can pick up where we left off. Just remember where we left off, guys, okay? Mm-hmm. And I'm looking forward to hearing a lot more about your relationship with your brother, and about exploring this anger with you. And, of course, the two of you were wonderful, and thank you for... we all have a history, so it's like already family here. Like they already know, but like we get into all kinds of stuff in this group. So, right?
Oh yeah.
So, thank you for joining us.
Great job. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to Unnoticed Observer, your window into group therapy. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please leave a rating and review. For all the latest updates and info, follow us on Facebook at Unnoticed Observer Podcast. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.